Hey everyone, welcome to Yoga with Maria. I'm Maria and today we're working on Hero's Pose. This is a seated posture and we'll check out a few variations as well as a couple modifications that you can use on your own. So make sure you have 2 blocks for this practice, your mat if you have one. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and let's get started. Alrighty yogis, thanks so much for joining me today to practice Virasana. We're going to start out in a Virasana right out the gate, a variation of this pose or a modification. So take a block. I like to do it on the widest, flattest setting. There's definitely other options here. So if you've studied this or practiced this before and you've placed the block in a different orientation, feel free to use that today or try what I teach and prefer like this. So take a block on the widest, flattest setting, and then you're going to come over the block almost like in a hands and knees so that one leg is on either side of the block. And then the block will come between the ankles, the knees come together in front, and then you'll just sit back. The seat lands right on the block. If you're doing this with me and you have tightness or pulling or any sort of pain at all in the knees, grab a second block, lift up and place a second block underneath the seat and you'll notice that you're just in a higher orientation. If this is still too painful for the knees, this might not be the pose for you, or you can try to continue to lift the seat up. I'm going to take it on one block here, and I just want to call out a few things for you because I'm going to show some other variations of this as well. Just notice, take the hands to the tops of the thighs and gently just press the thigh bones down. And then take the hands kind of like lobster claws on the tops of the thighs and just notice how the thighs kind of internally rotate in this seated posture. So you can kind of take the flesh of the thighs and internally rotate them towards one another just to see how that feels. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then lift up off the block, move the block to the side, come to hands and knees, and just cross one ankle over the other, roll over the feet. I'm going to do this at a little bit of a diagonal here. Take the knees really wide this time and bring the soles of the feet together in a Baddha Konasana. So just hold on to the inner edges of the feet and let the knees fall down towards the floor. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Just doing a little bit of opening in the hips and the legs before we practice the deeper variation of Virasana. And then from here, take the hands behind you and scoop the knees towards center. And then you'll just take the heels a little bit further away from the seat and separate the feet about hip width distance. From here, you're going to let the right knee fall over to the right all the way and let the left knee fall right inside the right foot, and just notice how this left thigh bone internally rotates. And then you might even walk the hands towards the right knee and just notice how this leg completely internally rotates. Of course, the right leg is externally rotated here. Good, and then come back to center and let the left knee fall open to the left. The right knee falls inward. The knee can just come right to the sole of the left foot. You can stay here. This might feel like a lot of rotation on the right leg, or you can continue walking. This actually might relieve some of the internal rotation, but you can walk the hands towards the left side. And then we'll do this one more time. So take the hands behind you and just let the knees fall to the right and then fall to the left. Let's do it one more time. Windshield wipering the knees to the right and to the left. Good, and then bring the knees back to center, cross the ankles and roll over the feet. This time, tuck the toes underneath you, bring the heels and the inner edges of the feet together. Let the knees go wide and bring the forearms to the mat or the floor. So just a little yogi squat malasana. You can let the head fall heavy. Breathe in. Breathe out. Walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Lift the hips and take a half lift. Just take the hands to the shins. On the exhale, hands come to the mat. Left foot steps back behind you. Tap your left knee down untuck the toes, and then just lay the belly and the chest on top of the right thigh bone. Hands can stay on the mat, or if they don't reach the mat, use the blocks underneath the hands here. You can even let the head fall heavy as well. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, step the left foot forward. Again, take a half lift, look forward. Exhale, hands to the mat, right foot steps back, drop your right knee down. Same thing, other side, untuck the right toes. And then again, lay the belly and the chest over the top of the right thigh, and then let the head hang heavy. Letting the hips sink down towards the floor. You will probably notice the opening or the release in the front of the right leg. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Tuck the right toe, lift the right knee, step the right foot forward, take a half lift, look forward. And then hands come to the mat, come back through hands and knees. So the shins come to the mat. Just come to stand on the knees for a moment. From here, we're going to practice the deeper variation of Virasana. So I'm going to show you, but if, again, at any point along this journey, if you have pain in the knees, I really encourage you to honor that and take a lesser version of this posture if that's you. There's no reason to have pain in the knees. There's no reason to suffer through yoga, even if you feel like you're super tight or inflexible. So from here, bring the knees together, and then you'll sink the hips back, and you'll notice as you do that, the groin deepens and the legs naturally internally rotate. Take your fingers, so you'll lean forward a little bit, take your fingers in the crease of the back of the knee, and you'll pull the muscle in the skin of the calf just straight back as you sit down between the heels. So that's the key here. The seat comes down to the mat or a block in between the heels. So you're not sitting on the heels any longer. And then take your right hand to the right kneecap, lift the knee up, and then pull the skin of the knee up and over, and then set the knee back down. And then we'll do the same thing on the left side. Pick up the left knee, take the hand to the kneecap or almost underneath, and then pull the skin of the knee up and over. Good. Again, if there's any pain in the knees, you can put a block under the seat, and that's still 100% Virasana. I'm just showing a deeper version, the more classic version, so you have the knowledge, you've seen it before. And then take the hands to the knees. And we want the natural curve in the spine. So there is an element of lengthening the sides of the waist and sitting with the chest slightly lifted. You still have the curve in the low back. And then you might close your eyes here and breathe in and out. Breathing in and out. Let the eyes open. I want to demonstrate Supta Virasana. I'm just going to scoot up on my mat here. So if you're on a block, you can do this as well. And I'll tell you when you have to modify if you're on the block. So some of us will be able to reach back and lean back into this. So this is on our way to Supta Virasana or Virasana on the back or upward facing or front facing. Some of us might be able to come to our forearms. If you're on a block, you're welcome to come to the forearm. That will be okay. However, if you have a block under the seat, this is where you'll pause. If you don't, you can catch the feet, press down through the elbows, and lay your back onto the mat. And then you can take the arms up and overhead, catching opposite elbows. And then put the other forearm on top. If you have the block and you're on the forearms, just hang out where you are. And then the hands will come back to the feet. Press down through the elbows to lift yourself up. Tuck the chin and lift yourself back through Virasana. And then press down by the ankles to lift the seat. Come through hands and knees. Cross one foot over the other and sit back. Extend the legs in front of you for Dandasana. You'll notice that the whole backs of the legs will thank you for letting the blood flow back through the legs or the prana or energy. So just notice that for a moment, pressing the hands down into the floor If you need a block under this seat in this Dandasana shape, you can take that as well. If you feel like the pelvis is collapsing backwards, go ahead and sit up on a block. Breathing in. Breathing out, and then bend the knees, catch behind the knees, roll onto your back. One more thing here, extend the legs up towards the ceiling or the sky, catch behind the thighs. Let the weight of the legs fall into the hands. Relax the feet. And then bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Take the knees a little bit wider than the hips and let the knees knock in. Take one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. I'm going to leave you here in this constructive rest. You can stay for a few more moments if you'd like. Thanks so much for joining me today for Virasana Hero's Pose. Namaste, yogis. The main goal of finding a comfortable seated position is so that you can use it for other practices like breath work and meditation. And so I recommend you checking out my balancing breathwork video right here on YouTube to test out this new seat. Just know in the video I'm sitting cross-legged, but you can also sit in Virasana, one of the variations that we practiced today, if that was comfortable for you. So give it a click and I'll see you there.